What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Play in the Field. I'm your host, Ryan Field, joining you via Zoom today from an apartment somewhere located in Manhattan. Joined now by our favorites, Jen Matarese, our Bachelor insider from WABC, and our Bachelor expert, Gina Sirico, out there at KABC in Los Angeles. Ladies, welcome, and welcome to our very special guest. April is here from The Golden Bachelor and from Bachelor in Paradise. April, thanks so much for joining us. How the heck are you?
I am so good. I just moved to New York myself. I'm outside of Nyack. So I am trying to adjust to finding places for my clothes, it's a whole new world out here, folks. I mean,
You don't get a lot of space for your buck, that's for sure.
I'm like, what am I doing? I have more shoes than I know. We'll go there. That's another topic.
You were in Florida, right? You were in Florida?
I was in Florida. I'm going back to see a friend in a couple weeks, and I don't know how the winter's going to be here, but I'm here. Family's up here, and I'm here to kind of continue my projects and maybe get an agent and do what I love to do, which is share with other people. So I'm in the right place. I feel the vibes.
I feel the vibes from Manhattan all the way up to Nyack. So we appreciate that. And we appreciate you being here. And listen, we've enjoyed watching your journey, and especially now here on Bachelor in Paradise. What to you was maybe the most surprising part about being at the beach? Was there anything that really jumped out to you?
Um, that there were so many people and we were more free. It wasn't as you're going to go on a date, the rest of you are going to follow up. We were just like helter-skelter, like kids on a beach on a summer afternoon, and it was very enlightening and freeing, and I felt more in my skin than ever, so I was ready to go, although it was very hot. Very, 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 very hot.
So we saw you hanging out with Jonathon quite a bit and having a good time with him. What can you tell us about the time you spent with him?
I think he's adorable. I think that I have a different eyes than young people, and I saw a sensitivity in him, sometimes maybe his quietness and what would come off as aloofness was maybe just not being sure on how to handle situations. So, um, I really adore him. I wanted to adopt him as my son. I was like and I was a guidance counselor and a dean of a school, so I would always be looking for the shy person, and I would kind of incorporate them and pull them into my circle. So I think he's adorable. Those girls, they need a spanking.
There was one moment after the rose ceremony when you picked him, where you kind of looked at Kat, and who's your roommate there, and was like, "Are you okay? Like, is that okay?" It felt like, was that a little bit for her to maybe explore that option?
I used Cat, not use Cat, but I leaned on Cat, let me rephrase that, to get the vibe of the other young women. So when I looked at her, because she is very strong like me, and I think she is kind of a leader, as I am, and I always leaned on her like she was my big sister, like we were coworkers together. And I didn't know if she wanted him, but she didn't pick him. So, you know, it is kind of a game for everybody else, but not for me. I never play games with people or their hearts or their feelings. So I'm always trying to read the room. But I love Kate too. I love all those kids. I felt like I was in camp.
It did have kind of a summer camp vibe to it, now that you mention it. The counselors mixed with the campers, if you will. And and listen, it was one of those things, we talked about this on the podcast. Your let's call it a relationship with Jack, your friendship with Jack. And one moment that really stood out to me was in the cocktail party before the rose ceremony, where Jack basically shot his shot with you, came up and was kind of, not a shoulder to cry on, but definitely you had just come off a tough conversation. Jack was there, and then he planted one on you that was PG-13 and then some. Kind of take us back to that moment, and how close were you to giving Jack a rose because of it?
Well, actually, he did save me at that moment. All I needed was somebody to show me they cared for me, and they absolutely did, and it was Jack. I wasn't expecting the kiss so much. But then I'm realizing I am on The Bachelor. I have to kiss people, and he is nice and he's harmless, and all the producers are around, so it's not going to go too far. All this is going through my head, and but he is a very nice person. And I had gotten a little bit of information more about him actually right before I walked on. My intention was to pick him. And then when I was up on the rafters, the little, rafters they put us, I kept looking, and I really am hunting for love. I'm not there to just play a game and get airtime. I really would like to I'm lonely. I hope I find someone in Nyack. Um, I really want to be in love, and there was not that there for any of them. There were just too many empty holes. I'm pretty intuitive. I kind of go with my gut, and then there was poor Jonathon. Like, they didn't tell me to do that. That wasn't planned. In fact, I think I shocked the heck out of everybody.
That is for sure.
I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh my god, and I think you couldn't see, some of the other casts, and they were Jesse went they didn't show it, but you went, "Oh." Oh god, I did it again, I'm always doing stuff like that, but that's just me being who I am. I mean, I just follow my heart, That's my compass.
Did you hear from the other ladies after the fact, like, why couldn't you have kept so and so or this guy because maybe you could have gotten to know him better? And did you second guess that decision at any point to give it to Jonathon, or are you at the end of the day still glad you did that?
I'm still glad I did it, but when I went back and realized what I did in the game, that I shorted us a guy, yes, I was regretful. And then some of the young girls who didn't like Jonathon said he needed to go home, April.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. And so I kind of, I love all my women. I mean, I'm a woman's woman. I will defend you till the end. And I kind of felt like I let them down a little bit by not playing by the rules. But I don't play by the rules. I never have, and I never will. So I make mistakes sometimes, but they're great lessons.
Well, here's the thing. I think mistakes are subjective. Like with the Jonathon thing, it may have been a mistake to people who didn't want him there, but it's not for somebody who could want him there. And it was your choice. Like, you know what I mean?
And there were more girls coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were more guys coming in. I was blindsided like everybody else, in this kind of environment. And so I had no recourse in finding what I was going to do. I just had to go with it. And I hope Jonathon, he seemed okay. There were some beautiful parts that I wasn't caught on of him and I having a really intimate conversation. And I do this little prayer for everybody when I love them. And I'll do it for you guys before I leave.
Okay.
If you remind me. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. I'm always learning too. That's why the age is, so silly. As long as you're learning, you're growing. And that's cool.
Well, we learned something about you as well in that episode, in that you do a very good cat impersonation. The purring was it had me questioning a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie. Chief among them, was there any chance that you would have crossed the line and maybe kissed Jonathon, maybe a little makeout? Was it ever a consideration? Because the purring and everything else made it seem to me that there it is, that you're really warming up to.
Thinking about this nightly now, I think he reminded me of my significant other who died, who was very Italian looking and tiny. I think that I've had an emotional connection to him. So who knows? I don't know. I mean, the soul's ageless, so no idea.
It's nothing but a number. Nothing but a number.
So you mentioned that the other younger girls were saying send Jonathon home. Like, why in particular? Is there some reasons you can share with us?
No idea. I still don't know. And I kind of backed off then because I'm a kumbaya kind of person. I don't want to cause any problems. And but some of them said, a lot of them said, but April, because they saw by my look on my face, like, I did something wrong, obviously. And then they were like, no, it was really sweet. We love that you did that. It was good. And then they didn't mention anything more to me. So I just thought, let's, let the cat wander home. And
Oh my God. Looking at your time on Paradise, in Paradise, what is something that really kind of stands out to you as like a moment that was really special? I mean, obviously we had the Jonathon stuff, but is there a moment that was like really special to you?
the one moment that was special is when I reunited with Kathy from that whole asking group. And I could see when she saw me, she was like, um, "Are we okay?" And I put my arms around her. I said, "We are more than okay. I love you, and I will always love you when I decide I love you." And I'm pretty steadfast like that. I don't leave people. And I said to Kathy, "I will never hurt you." And Kathy, when you decide to like someone, girls, you like them or you don't. You take them for the good and the bad and the crazy, and we're all a little crazy, and you decide, I'm going to put up with that crazy. So that's what I do with my friends, and that's what I did with Kathy, and now she calls me all the time. So we're just like, "What do you get?" She called me last night. "Oh my God, you're going to be on tomorrow. What are you going to say?" I go, "Kathy, everything's fine. Chill. Just chill. I got it." So, she's
And
adorable.
and we know Kathy had great things to say about us, and she told us that you were in good hands here today, with the Playing the Field podcast, obviously. And listen, the one of the cool things about this season, obviously, is it's historic in the sense that you're mixing the Goldens with the youngins, if you will. What is when people that are listening to this podcast, and obviously you mentioned the dating world, what, in your opinion, are some of the biggest mistakes that younger people make in the dating game these days, and maybe something that you saw on this show that kind of brought that to light even more so?
I think when we're all young, and I think even myself and other people react instantly without thinking. I think we need to listen. I think we're not good listeners, and all of us as a whole. You are, maybe I am now because I'm a therapist, but we're not listening. We're thinking about what we're going to say before we even get it out. Boom, 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 boom. This is what I'm going to do, and they misinterpret a lot of things, and then they become emotional, it gets hurtful, and then they're off to the races, and it is, at sometimes really self-defeating to what you want, which is to find a mate or to work out a communication issue, but the girls were really g I and the guys, I don't know men as well as women, so they're not my forte.
Same.
I don't get them. I just bring my little broomstick and go home. So, I
Right
lost
now,
I lost
some of us some of us are very easy to figure out. That's all I'm gonna say.
well,
Ryan might be one of those people to figure out. What?
yeah, I'm not gonna say the word, but you see them and they know where their car is and their toothbrush and they come back home. That's
We're simple creatures, April. We're simple creatures. That's all I have to say.
they don't wanna go through all this. They don't wanna have to find someone else. They just let me play my game.
So I have to ask, everyone's been talking about the comments that Mel made about dating women. He prefers women 45 to 60, and if they were over 60, he was going to cut them. What did you make of his comments? Would you ever consider going on the Golden Bachelor to give him a shot? Yeah, I just want your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that, quite frankly. I don't think we have time. I don't think it's a Mel problem. I think it's a cultural problem. I think that um, we say we're liberal and we're all inclusive, but is it still a man's world and they are calling the shots? that's what it sounds like, and that's what it feels like to a lot of people my age. And he is not the first person I've heard that from. Unfortunately, for the girls, it's going to be out in the open, in live film. But I definitely am going to be watching and supporting my girls. And I don't know them yet, and I've read through some of their bios, but it is hurtful. It is very men. I don't like I said, I'm not when I'm a therapist, I usually do women your age and like that. Men, I'm probably too harsh on them.
But as a therapist, like I love that you were talking about listen, there was like a whole trend of we listen and we don't judge. And I feel like that is kind of important. We're listening. Okay, we've taken that in. Do I like what he said? Probably not so much, but I'm not going to judge. We're going to still watch and see how it all plays out. And I think that's kind of the key here.
And that's what I would tell to the girls that are going on, the young women or the older women or whatever he wants to call them. I don't know what ages they all are, but stand in your power. Remember who you are. No one is like you in the whole world. We're here for lessons, and the lessons is love. And you just spread your light, be loving, be grounded. Don't worry about what anyone else is saying, and stand in your power. You're very powerful. And if they don't see that, that's because they're at a lower frequency than you, a lower energy, and whatever, move on. There's a Yiddish word, I think it's gay gesundheit, which means please step aside. There's someone behind you that wants to meet me. You kind of have, I probably said it wrong. I'm a Meshuggah.
But you know what? You did promise us a prayer, and I think that's the best way to
will do
close
that.
this out. We would love to close out our conversation with you with a great prayer to end it.
Thank you so much, and I'm so honored. Mother, Father, God, source of all there is, let us remember these beautiful people with this prayer. I love you. I praise you. I appreciate you. You are God's child. Great things happen to you. Nothing can stop it. Let your light flow, for you are needed right now more than ever. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you. Oh, I feel so good now.
Yes.
That's what I'm here to do. Open the hearts of others and find an agent.
Also that.
Also that. Okay. I'm so many things. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to watching your journey on Paradise. Thanks for being here.
Bless. Bye-bye.
I think we need to have daily prayer, and especially me being an ordained minister, Gina would say a man of the cloth. I feel like this definitely hit home a little bit more for me, and I think you ladies will agree with me on that, right? We always agree.
Look at Gina's face.
You're an ordained minister? What?
I am an ordained minister.
Hold on.
I do weddings and bar mitzvahs.
No, good to know.
Weddings and bar mitzvahs. Ryan.p.fit. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have to.
Are you the party starter at the?
Yeah, I'm the
bar
party
mitzvahs?
starter. It was funny. I did a wedding. I married my friends down in Houston, and a couple of their young cousins called me Reverend, which was a first for me. So
The great Reverend Field.
Reverend Ryan, they were
my.
calling me. Yeah. So
Oh my.
no confessionals though. So don't be too concerned about that. Once
This
again,
podcast is like your confessional.
yeah, exactly. You know what? We need a shot just of Gina's faces after everything I say. That would be an entire podcast in and of itself, I think.
I like where she goes from her normal state to all of a sudden the.
Yeah, right. Either the head shake, the squints, the head tilts.
This is why I can never play poker. I do not have a poker face.
The many faces of
The many
Gina.
faces of Gina. Yes.
Yeah, we love it. And listen, we loved April. What was your biggest takeaway, Jen, from her conversation?
I think she calls it like she sees it. She's very honest about her feelings. She wants to find love. So I'm hoping, we don't know what's going to happen the rest of this season. So hopefully maybe we'll see her make a connection if somebody else comes in, or I don't know, but it sounds like she's got a bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, she does. And one of the most surprising things I thought she said was that some of the younger women wanted Jonathon to go home.
I wonder if that was Jill.
Oh,
they were the one that has
maybe.
friction. That was
That-
my first thought.
That's a good point, because even though things didn't work out with he and Alex, I don't know. I felt like you're right. It probably was Jill that maybe said something, because Jonathan's been, I feel like, everybody's buddy on this show. I was shocked to hear that.
He's friends with everybody, so I mean, yeah, other than Jill, who felt kind of jilted. Ooh.
Ooh, well played.
Wow. Go, girl.
Jen's been sitting on that since the second episode. Let's be honest about that. She was waiting for
finally got
just
to
the
use
right
it.
time to sneak that one in there.
I love it. I love it.
So good. And Jen, you asked her about Mel's comments, which I think, by the way, we have a date. We have not announced this yet. We have a date for the Golden Bachelor premiere. Gina, I think it's September 24th.
I believe so. Oh,
and it's funny
threw me off
watching
guard.
It's funny watching our Bachelor insider and our Bachelor experts scramble at the same time
Well,
to find
it's
the
not
premiere
always at
date.
the top of our heads. These
Well,
things,
listen,
so
this is why you're the insider and the expert. I'm merely just the host of this program. I don't know the answer to these questions.
Yeah, well, you should know these things.
I should know these things.
You are correct.
See, I did know. September 24th. There you
You know
go.
what? Every time I start to doubt you a little, you're right.
Which, yeah,
It's a little annoying.
Sadly, all you both do is doubt me, so that's why we're in this predicament.
That's not true. That's maybe a little true. I don't know.
That's maybe partially true. Anyway, Jen, you asked her about Mel's comments. Obviously, that's something that is kind of the overhanging dark cloud, if you will, over this Golden Bachelor season, at least until it airs. Were you happy with her response to that question?
Yeah, I thought she was honest about it. I think that saying you want to support the women, watch the show, see how they handle it. Maybe Mel's opinion will change in getting to know them. And I saw it was Teresa was talking with Susan and saying that maybe the women shouldn't say their ages to him and just let him make up.
That's not a bad idea.
On who they know. I thought that was really kind of cool. So we'll see. We'll have to see how they handle this whole thing.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how all of this plays out. I feel like they'll probably be starting to film soon if they haven't already. And, just going by previous seasons. And it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I know there are a lot of people who have talked about it. I mean, The View was talking about it the other day. So it's a topic of conversation. And so it's going to be interesting to see how many people give him a chance to see kind of how it all goes.
Well, I think we can all agree in today's dating world, the rules seem to be changing from even what they were a few years ago. I feel like, Gina, you said it, age is just a number. I mean, there was a thought that April may have made out with Jonathan. I think all of us were thinking that at one point. At least I know I was. And based on her hand over her face, I think maybe she was too. Maybe she just doesn't want to admit it. But I think despite the fact that the rules are changing, I think it's very much a hot button topic. And when the Golden Bachelor premieres on September 24th, I'm going to be very curious to see how they address it. Is it safe to say, can we all agree that they need to address the elephant in the room? And do we think that they will?
I hope they do. It's very important. I mean, it has been a topic of conversation for weeks. He did that podcast in the beginning, however, like a month ago. And it's still a topic of conversation. So it's something that I think that they're going to need to address, especially since they're not replacing him from what it seems. So I think they do need to make it, just address it and talk about it. Maybe it's a conversation with him and Jesse. Maybe who knows? But I think that's like the best approach is him to talk about it with Jesse.
I hope they can
football players chatting it up.
That's a good
I
point.
hope they can resolve it in the first episode or two, because I don't want it to be the whole season talking about it.
Yeah, no.
And then especially
derail the whole thing.
Yeah, and how about when a woman gets eliminated that's 62, she's going to be like, oh, is it because I'm over the age of 60 if she doesn't get a rose? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that it may be a continuing topic of conversation throughout the whole season. That's going to be fascinating to watch.
This season is going to have built-in drama.
Oh, already. It hasn't even started yet. So we're obviously excited about that. We're excited about watching Paradise continue to unfold. As Jesse said, things are about to change, and I think we're about to find that out here real soon. And we can't wait to watch and see what happens at the beach. In the meantime, thank you so much to April for being here. Thank you to my co-hosts Jen and Gina for being here, and for you being here as well. I'm Ryan Field. We will see you next time on the next episode of Playing the Field.